Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio with an email from a listener named Shirley. And here's what Shirley has to say. Hi, Tom. I know you probably think your show is harmless. I want you to know how frightening it is for some women. Unfortunately, there are many men who are physically and mentally abusive to their wives and girlfriends. You have no idea how horrifying it is to be married to a man that is abusive. My response to that is always, why'd you get involved with a guy like that? You see, what's really horrifying is imagining what it is about yourself that makes you be attracted to people like that. You don't want to deal with that. You just want to blame it on the guy who probably is horrifying. You're both two sick puppies. Both of you. She says it destroys lives, particularly children's lives. Well, again, dear, if you're talking about yourself, why would you have children with an abusive man? Why would you do that? Don't you take any responsibility at all? You're the one who spread your legs and said, come on, no rubber, let's go. To a guy who beats the crap out of you. Whose fault is that? The answer is, it's both of your fault. She says, your show promotes a negative view of women. And that gives abusive men another excuse to attack and frighten their families. Please, please, as one human being to another, try to understand that it is women that have more to fear from men than the other way around. Yeah, that's despite the fact that I've read recent studies that say that women commit at least as many violent acts against men as men commit against women. Many men will not report these acts, and when they do, they are frequently told to grow up or be a man or whatever, and just simply tolerate it. Just because very few women are convicted of this crime doesn't mean it doesn't happen. She says, women in this country struggle to raise children, protect children, feed children, all on their own. Really? Most women I know are getting child support, or they have some guy, either the father of their kids or the father of one of their kids or the father of none of their kids, paying the bills. I don't know a lot of women who are doing it on their own. Sure, there are some, but I don't know many of them. She goes on to say, the people that you are harming by demeaning women is mostly their children. Abusive, alcoholic men love your show. They can relate to your hatred of women. Remember that women are people too. We are all equal in God's eyes. What you are doing is the most evil thing possible. I hope to God that you see the light soon. Sincerely, Shirley. It is unbelievable. I don't advocate violence on this program by anybody against anybody, ever. Ever. I've gone out of my way to say, for example, if you hear me say the phrase, women love being treated like crap, you've heard me say, about 80% of the times I make that statement. We're not talking about physical abuse. Physical abuse is wrong. Violence is wrong. We're talking about being unreliable, undependable, not returning phone calls, putting women on ice, that kind of thing. Never, ever, ever have I advocated violence against anybody on this program, and in fact, I've gone out of my way to say I do not advocate it. Now, if people don't choose to hear that part of what I'm saying, what am I supposed to do? I can't have my hands come out of the speakers and wring people by the neck. Then I'd be committing a violent act. I'm wondering if you happen to agree with anything Shirley had to say.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. Tom Leykis.
I totally agree with you that women can be attention whores, especially for the fact that I live in the city of attention whores, Los Angeles.
We invented attention whoring here.
The Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Sherry on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Sherry.
Hi. How are you feeling today?
Great.
Excellent. I'm calling in because I think that girl Shirley is a complete idiot. You don't promote any kind of violence whatsoever. I'm a 35-year-old married woman, been married for almost 16 years. I have a 15-year-old son who listens to your show and is in the car with me now. And all you do is promote that men should get what they want before they get married, because why not? They should. They should play and have a good time. And
especially since if they are going to get married,
it's
a lot less likely they're going to screw around if they satisfy every fantasy.
Absolutely. And you know what? And if you get a good woman like myself, whom surely makes a bad name for women like myself, whom there are no boundaries with us. You know, everything's good as long as you're honest with each other, and that's what we chose. You know, we got pregnant early. We did everything that you say not to do, and it ended up working out okay, thank God for us. But for most people, it doesn't, and I would not do the same thing again.
So, does that mean you have an open marriage?
Open for the most part. Yeah, there's no saying no, really. There shouldn't be, because when you start saying no, that's when they go other places. You know, and I would much rather be an understanding, loving wife who has a husband that comes home to me and loves me and is honest with me than someone who is not and has to hide everything.
Of course, then the question becomes, why get married?
Well, that's true, and you know what, that's what we chose because we were young and we were in the position we were in, and with family influences, that's what we chose to do. And like I said, thank God it has worked out, but man, it's been a long, tough road. There were lots of weeks of eating beans and weenies and paying for food with change from the bucket in our bedroom, you know.
Wow.
Because we didn't do the right things. But you know, your philosophy, I listen to you every day, and I have my 15-year-old son listen to you every day as well when we pick him up from school, and you're right on, man.
Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome, Tom.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Michelle on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How are you doing?
Great.
Okay. Well, I don't know what that email I gave Shirley. She out of her mind. What happened to responsibility for your own actions?
Well, that's what a lot of these women who say they're with abusive men really have to look at. I mean, somebody committing a violent act against you is wrong, but isn't something wrong with someone who's attracted to people like that?
Well, I mean, why would you stay with someone who does that?
Why would you have children with somebody like that?
I have no idea.
And it's because the person being attacked is as sick as the attacker.
I would guess so. Because
and that's politically incorrect to say, but until we as a society start saying that, the problem will never go away.
I agree, because if my boyfriend, no matter how much I love him, if he ever lays a hand on me, he's gone. That's it.
Right. Why would you stay around?
I kid with him. The first time, it's done. Why would anyone put up with that man or woman?
Well, in my case, you know, you commit one violent act against me, just one, I'm out.
I agree.
I have a zero-tolerance policy.
And none of that back-and-forth nonsense. The first time you see what they're like, then you're like, forget it. Why would you ever get married to someone like that?
That's exactly right.
You gotta know before you're married, you know, that they at least have a violent temper.
Oh, I totally agree with you. Sue on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Sue.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Tom. I am just totally disgusted by Shirley's letter. She obviously does not listen to your show because I've never heard you promote violence whatsoever. And if anything, you are always for the children. You are talking about how people are so ignorant to stay in a relationship, to have children out of wedlock. It just disgusts me that she blames it on you and your show.
Clearly, she has her own issues. Chances are she's in an abusive relationship. Chances are she is being beaten or a victim of verbal abuse of some kind. And clearly, the shoe fits a little too well for Shirley.
I think so. I definitely think so. And I've listened to your show about 3 years. I've never called in. This is the first time I've called in because I want to defend you because everything I've heard you say about children and how it's for the children and these stupid women going out, spreading their legs, popping out kids like nothing. They have absolutely no responsibilities. It disgusts me. It absolutely disgusts me. I've been married for 17 years, and I'm 35 years old. I waited 10 years to have a child. I chose to have a child. I raised that child with love. Other people, they don't do that. They just pop kids out. They use them as a tool. Oh, I'll keep my man. I'll have a child. It's a tool. It's a game, and it absolutely disgusts me.
Totally agree with you, Sue. I appreciate it. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Ty on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello, Ty.
Hello, Dad.
Hello, son.
Well. Everybody's trying to throw the blame card on everybody else. Especially you, sir.
What am I doing?
No, everybody's trying to blame you.
Oh, yes, it's all my fault. Men were not abusing women until the Tom Leykis Show came on the air.
Oh, yeah. No, it never happened before.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just like video games. Video games are too violent. Well, doesn't everybody have their own opinion, have their own judgment on things? I mean, give me a break now.
I say any woman who is with a violent guy should get out. That's the best way to solve the problem. Leave today. Leave today.
Everybody has their own opinion. It's just that they like to hit it so much. Or they like
it's much more Shirley's fault that she's with an abusive guy than mine. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know what to say, but women are crazy.
Thank you, Ty. I appreciate that. 1-800-5800-TOM. Brandon on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello, Brandon.
Oh, Tom.
What up?
Hey, what's happening? Hey, I just wanted to make a quick comment. You know, I haven't heard any of these women emailing or calling in defending this email that you got, even mentioning the Lorraine Bobbitt's, the excessive lengths that the women go to make it clear how they feel about their significant other. I was just wondering your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, that's perfectly okay. You know, everybody who heard about what Lorena Bobbitt did said, oh, he probably deserved it. I don't hear anybody saying that she should have gone to prison for a significant period of time. They say he must have earned it or he must have abused her somehow, blah, blah, blah. And this is why the problem never gets resolved.
Well, you never hear of the men doing to that extreme. You never hear of breast getting cut off or, you know, Lord forbid, anything amputee-wise. I mean, it's always the women doing the extreme acts. So, I mean, next time she feels like writing the email, write it to somebody else.
Exactly right, Brandon. Thank you for that. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Rick on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How's it going, brother?
Doing okay, Rick.
You know, I haven't been listening to you for more than a couple of months, but I like what I hear. And I got to make a comment about this Shirley lady that calls or that sent you this letter. She always put, you know, people like this put women up on a pedestal like they can do no wrong. I got two words for her: Andrea Yates.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear about more cases where women are killing their kids or they're abusing their kids, beating the crap out of them, and no one ever says anything about it. Ladies like Shirley here, you know, wants to blame you of all people.
Yeah, it's my fault.
How could it possibly be
It's my fault that Shirley is with an abuser.
Yeah, I mean...
And it's my fault that he's abusing her.
You know, I've heard women talk to you about this before, and, you know, they fail to mention, okay, you know, I'll grant them that you'll get relationships where everything starts off peachy because, of course, the man and the woman, they're both on their best behavior. Then the guy turns into an abusive jerk. She should leave.
Exactly.
Same thing with the guy. But anyway, man, keep up the good work. Take me out with a... Yeah, how about Kobe style today?
Here you go.
This is about us. She's so special to me. Yeah, it beats in my heart. Yeah, the air I breathe. She's so special to me.
1-800-5800-TOM. It's Kelly on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
I'm okay, Kelly.
Good. Hey, I wanted to comment on the topic that you're talking about today.
Uh-huh.
I honestly just got out of an abusive relationship, and I wanted to say that this individual that wrote you the letter is obviously in a really, really tough relationship, and it's a vicious cycle. It's a pretty nasty cycle, and it takes a lot of strength to walk away from something like that. I completely agree. The person that isn't walking out of the relationship is just as ill as the person that's carrying on that type of relationship. So I really think the topic that you're discussing, it's very important, especially for so many listeners, because there's so much of that out there today.
Well, you know, Kelly, as someone who's been through this, you know what happens if they ever arrest a guy like your ex. What happens is he is forced by the court to go into some kind of program for abusers or batterers or whatever, and you're just that poor little thing who's been abused, and now everything's going to get better.
Right.
And in so many cases, women like you end up going into another relationship with another guy like that.
Exactly.
And it just keeps going on like that. But society does nothing for you. All we do is say, oh, you poor thing. But you need help as much as he needed it.
Exactly. And the fact of the matter is, if he goes into a program like that and does not want to get the help, he's never going to change.
I agree with that.
The biggest thing is with us, too, is those that are abused, we have to notice our behavior, and we have to be willing to change that as well.
First, you have to recognize it. And in many cases, the reason you're in a relationship like that is because your mom or dad were in a relationship like that.
Right.
And so it's what feels normal to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get there. I've been through 5 years of therapy. Mm-hmm. I also was assigned, and I'm very upfront about it. I was assigned once when I was falsely accused of assault in a domestic violence case. I did 6 months in a batterers program.
Uh-huh.
And so I had to show up in Van Nuys every Saturday morning at 7:30 with a bunch of tweakers and the heroin addicts and guys with big tattoos who say they beat their woman because she wouldn't make toast in the morning or whatever. And most of these guys had about as much interest in being there as the average drunk driver has in going to AA.
Yeah.
None of these guys were getting fixed. And the whole idea is to just paint all men as a bunch of bruisers, as a bunch of brutes, as a bunch of predators, and women as a bunch of poor little victims. The reality is it takes two to tango, and a man who is sick enough to abuse another individual has to find a sick individual who is willing to accept abuse.
Exactly.
And until society understands that, this problem will never go away. It will never, ever get fixed.
Right, and until I gain self-confidence and realize that it comes from me and not from someone else, then I won't change.
Yes, you have to take responsibility for your part of it. Now, you didn't beat yourself, but you have to take responsibility for finding that kind of man attractive. Many women I know have been in relationships like this, think the big bruiser is going to protect them, the big teddy bear who's going to put his arms around them and hold them and take care of them at night and protect them from bad people.
Yeah.
And in reality, you end up with a bad person who's going to do the same thing to you that he was supposed to protect you against.
Exactly. So I agree with your show. I really do. I was listening to it, and I was like, this sounds like me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to call in and say that I'm listening.
I love that. Now, Kelly, final question for you. Did you go into therapy? Did you go to see the counselor after you got out of that relationship?
I had actually been in counseling during the relationship, and it took me separating from him. I'm military, and so is he. And it took me actually separating from him to realize that this relationship wasn't quite what I wanted. It wasn't what I deserved, and I felt that I was just as toxic to him as he was to me. So I actually have not gone to therapy since. I actually worked in psychiatry for the longest time, so I'm fortunate that I'm educated enough to kind of help myself along the way. But still, it would benefit me to talk to somebody.
I suggest you do that. If it's a matter of funds, keep in mind if you have a job, your insurance probably covers that.
It does.
Well, then you should go do it.
Yeah. I definitely...
And by the way, Kelly, I say this as someone who's been in therapy for 5 years, okay?
Oh, no,
So
no.
it's not like I recommend it to others, but I wouldn't do it myself. I'm in there now.
Yeah.
So go do it.
Definitely.
All right, Kelly.
I will. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate your call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hello here to Aaron on the Tom Leykis Show. Say Aaron first. Hello. Hi.
Hi, I'm 25. I listen to your show every day. And I want to thank the lady that just called. That was really courageous of her. I don't agree with that woman's letter. My mom told me when I was younger, people only do to you what you let them. And I don't think that it's right for her to blame anyone for anyone else's behavior. And I never, ever, not one day in my life listening to your show have I got that you hate women. So I just wanted to call and let you know that.
Thank you for that, Aaron. I appreciate that. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. Jesse in Portland, Oregon, home of the other white meat. You're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
What's up, Dad? Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Doing okay, son.
Good. Yeah, anyhow, I don't know about the girl. I didn't hear the letter because I had diploma and I was in a job. But, man, my mom, man, I was never met my dad. He left her when she was pregnant. My mom got with an alcoholic drunk from Arkansas who was like 5'2" and just a redneck. Used to my mom.
Pal, you got to watch your mouth. We're on the air.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I used to beat the crap out of both of us. And it took my mom 8 years to finally leave him. And I think a lot of it has to do with is, for one, if, they don't make much money, they feel like they have nowhere to go. Two, he scared her to death, and so she was scared to leave him. And it's weird how, it finally took her 8 years and she finally left him. And it's just, that's just ridiculous. I don't know how any guy just beats girls. And it's, if I ever see the guy.
But here's the thing. Nobody should be beating anybody.
Well, of course
this
not.
idea of talking about guys beating girls somehow makes it sound like it's okay for guys to beat guys.
No, not at all. Self-defense.
Nobody should be beating anybody. And if you're in a relationship and somebody hits you, I say it's time to go toddling out the door. Done. Out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And that's definitely fact, And I live up, in Portland. I actually live in Vancouver, Washington, and Clark County there. If a girl hits you and she calls the cops, you go to jail.
Oh, again, that is why you have to have a zero-tolerance policy on that.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-866.
What would you say to a man that did have a female friend?
I'd say you're a pussy.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The cockpit in Los Angeles. It's the Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about an email I received from a listener named Shirley, who says my show is not harmless. It's dangerous. Dangerous. Because I have a negative view of women. And I'm encouraging abusive men. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Mike on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how you doing, bud?
Doing okay, Mike.
Good. Hey, I just want to comment about abusive husbands and boyfriends and all that stuff, man. It's not good. The women that are in those type of relationships, if they're not, looking at themselves and thinking, I could do better in this in my life, they should just get away or have their family members help them get away from that situation. Because I'm a product of that situation as a child.
What happened?
Well, what happened was my mom tried leaving my father around when I was about 5 years old. Started telling him, hey, I'm not going to deal with this no more. I witnessed the violence in the house every day where he would just beat her up right in front of me, and I saw it a lot, and I didn't like it, There's nothing I can do. I can't beat him up. He was a big old dude. But my thing is, the ultimate thing, what happened was he eventually said, you know what, I don't care about my life anymore, so I'm just going to take everybody out that I don't really care about. And when he decided to do all this, he picked a great day for me to have it done on. He did it on one of my days that I celebrate, my birthday. So now every year that it comes up, I don't even like celebrating anymore.
Wait, what did he do?
He ultimately walked in the house, kicked in the door, and I was sleeping in the living room while my mom was in the master bedroom with her new boyfriend that I guess she was seeing at the time, without his knowledge, or from what I got later on from family, that he didn't even know he was in the house. And he just kicked down the door. I got up and ran because I started freaking out, ran into my bedroom and shut the door, and all I heard were gunshots go off. And from what I understand, he went in there. The guy that she was with was being a total wimp, got up, ran out the damn window, or ran out the back door and took off over people's fences. And then he ultimately just ended up shooting her. Then he just shot himself.
Both dead?
Both dead.
Wow. And when did you come out of the bedroom?
I didn't come out of the bedroom. Cops came into my bedroom and took me out.
Holy cow. And you were how old?
I was 7 years old on my birthday.
Wow.
Yep. So, and then growing up, you know, I don't know if you remember this, Tom. I don't know, because I lived in Arizona all my life after that point. But all those commercials that came on the radio, on TV about domestic violence in the home and things like that, and it shows your chin, like, you know how they used to use scare tactics to say, hey, you know, if you're in this type of household, this is what your kids are going to develop being like and everything else.
Yes. And
that scared the hell out of me more than anything. And I was like, I am not like my father at all. I don't even want to think like my father did. And I just, you know, always grew up thinking, you know, I'm going to be like my mom, you know, someone, you know, listens to both sides and very caring. I think I've done a great job. I've never raised my hand once to a woman. To me, if I'm going to raise
But you also don't, Mike, let me tell you something. You also don't want to be like your mom. Because your mom got involved in a relationship like that and tolerated it.
Oh, yeah, especially. But another thing is, I just wish other family members, if they, because my family knew that she was being abused, you know, and her oldest sister, which eventually adopted me, always, you know, put blame on him. Oh, it's his fault. Oh, he's a bastard and everything else. And I'm like, you know what? Why didn't you help? As I got older, I didn't say that as a little kid. I didn't have the capacity to think that far, you know, blaming somebody else. So as I got older, I looked at her, I said, you know what, I'm sick of you always blaming everything on, you know, the way the things happen, you know, and the way things turned out, but why didn't you help? You're her older sister. You know, you could have let her come down here to live. You could have had her bring me with and just get away from him. But no, I mean, it's got to be help from all sides of the people, you know.
What did she say? What did she say when you told her that?
She was pissed. She threw me out of the house. She threw me out, and she called me a son of a bee and didn't want to have me around in her life. I'm the son of a a-hole that, you know, took her sister from her.
Wow.
So I don't have nothing to do with that woman anymore either. I have nothing. Basically, I'm like, you know what? You could have been a lot more supportive to me, but things that she said to me in my past, I was like, you know what? I don't need that either.
Yeah.
So, but I am very happy now. I've never once, you know, raised my hand to my wife or any of my ex-girlfriends ever, you know.
Did any of them ever do the same? Did any of them ever do it to you?
No, nobody's ever raised their hand to me. I was kind of like, I didn't care about pain because my dad used to beat me up when I was a little kid, and I used to have to make up stupid little stories why I got black eye, or my cheeks red, or the back of my head's got a big bump on the back of it, things like that. But, you know, I would never want to go through that situation again or have anybody else. I got in a fight with a guy in junior high and beat the hell out of him because he slapped his girlfriend in between periods of classes. I waited for him. He was in my next class. I walked right in the classroom, sat down, and I thought the guy was kind of cool. Wasn't really friends with him, didn't hang out with him. I just got up and started beating the hell out of him. And then so they called the counselors in, they called security in, we went to the principal's office, and they asked me why, you know, I did that. And I told them what happened. He slapped this girl, and they're like, oh, you shouldn't never do that. I go, well, you know what? She couldn't defend herself, so I just took care of it. And then the teachers found out what happened to my story in the past because my adoptive parent told them. Yeah. So they basically was like, oh, we got a problem child here. He needs to go have therapy and everything else. And the therapist scared the heck out of me, too, because he was like, oh, if you don't stop this, you're going to grow up being like this more and more. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I have a better, you know, judgment of what I'm doing, you know. So it was like all the scare tactics in life always made sure, that I didn't want to be that type of person where, if I got to raise my hand to something, I might as well not even be in there,
I totally agree with that. Mike, thank you. Great story. I'm sorry to hear that happened. It was a great story. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Paul on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello.
Is that a question or a statement?
Statement. Hello, Dad.
Hello, son.
I think it's just as much the women, too. Like, I'm in a marriage that, getting in a big old argument, and my wife pushed me.
You mean pushed you verbally?
Yeah.
Why do you stay? This is the thing I never understand.
Well, she I don't know. Another thing, where were you 8 years ago when I got married?
I mean, I have walked from more than one relationship where people just push and push and push and push. It's like, goodbye. Goodbye.
She also
done.
say,
out.
Yeah.
Why not you?
What's that?
Why didn't you get out?
I don't, well, we've got 2 stepdaughters, and then I have 2 daughters with her.
But she was like that before you had any kids.
Yeah, kind of.
Why'd you tolerate it?
She's hit me on occasion, but...
Well, why do you tolerate that?
I don't know. You weren't around, Dad.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, like...
I honestly, I can't tell you that. I've been trying to figure that out myself, but, like I'm saying, it's the women, too. They push and push and push. I've never touched my wife. And she'd always accused me of, especially lately, of I hit her, and I've never touched her. So one time we got in a big, really, really big fight, and she kept throwing that accusation out there. So I snapped and open-handed across the head. Said, "There, is that what you wanted?"
And?
I walked away.
And?
Yeah, no police were called or nothing, and she calmed down. We get in the argument still, but I don't know. I think that the women are just as guilty, and I think some of them want it.
Yeah, but you see, you shouldn't be with somebody who's sick like that.
Hey, that's true.
You see, and that's your sickness.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
So when someone does that, you need to get out. And if you stay, you're as sick as they are.
You're right, Dad.
Son, thank you.
Tom Leykis.
Come on.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
It's John on a cell phone. Hello.
Hello, John.
No, you're John. Wait. I know you're messed up. You're John. I'm Tom.
I'm sorry. Whew, my mind's crazy.
I know.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Mark, hello.
Hey, Dad, how you doing?
Doing okay, son.
All these stories I'm hearing, Tom, they're, it's exactly what I went through. But a lot of this stuff doesn't just happen overnight. I mean, you start into a relationship, it progresses into a marriage, and before you know it, you lost all control, and no matter what you do, it's not good enough.
But that's why you have to have a zero-tolerance policy. The minute something like that comes up, it's time to go.
When you have kids involved, it gets a lot more difficult. I don't want.
But that's why you shouldn't have kids so soon after you get with somebody.
It's a good point. But
I tell everybody you should wait 5 years to have your first child.
I wasn't thinking straight at the time. You want to do the right thing, and, you think you got to progress like most marriages do and have kids. And
yeah, look how well everyone's doing in this country. 1 out of 2 marriages ends in divorce.
Probably another one.
How many broken families are there? How many kids raised by single parents? Why would you want to copy them?
I thought I was different,
Everyone does.
Then, you end up being just like everybody else. And
so you're telling me that your wife showed no signs of being trouble before she had a baby? She did, and you stayed.
I did.
Yeah, so it's not like it happened when it was too late to get out. It didn't.
No, I should have seen it from the very... everyone even told me from the very beginning I should have seen it, but you think with the wrong head, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. That's the problem when you base a relationship on sex.
Yeah. Problem is that she's really good looking, and I kept on overlooking all of it.
Bad, bad, bad. Mark, thank you for the call. Our email address is my name. It's Tom at blowmeuptom.com. Or if you'd like to hear our show live, go to our website, blowmeuptom.com, and click on the Listen Live button.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.